Gas prices are up this morning, and get used to seeing that because they are poised to keep going higher.
Not the news we want to hear, but let's bring in Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy. Dan, we always bring you on when it's news you don't necessarily want to hear, but you're giving us kind of a reality check of what's happening at the pumps. Went up about 4 cents last night, but you're predicting that it's not stopping there.
No, Nick, it's going up another penny tomorrow. That's not a big deal, but it brings us up 158.9, and it looks like Sunday could see another 2-cent increase. What that really means is that we're looking at the beginning of what could be that cycle that we had mentioned a couple of months ago, where tightness in global supplies will have a lot to do with where prices are going. And you know, it's kind of interesting because a lot of people, Nick, this time are going to learn or at least experience something that they haven't seen in quite some time. No, not getting back on the road and traveling, but their mileage is actually going to start to plummet. And I say that because we're using ethanol for blending a lot more ethanol and gasoline to meet the clean fuel standards. So it's going to get expensive, and you're not going to get as far.
Okay, yeah, Dan, it seemed like there was this period where we weren't complaining about gas prices as much.
That's true.
You know, I went to fill up, but just the other day I noticed, okay, that's about $100 a tank again. What's going on? So do you think that this is going to be like an interest rate situation where it doesn't go down for a while? Do we know if there's an end in sight? Will we ever see the days where it goes below $1 a liter?
No, I don't think so. Between all the taxation, it's not likely. I just did a little calculation last night between now and 2030 with the two carbon taxes. That'll add about 72 to 73 cents on a liter of gasoline, 30 for the standard, and of course about 42 for the first carbon tax by 2030. That's a little ways off. What is important, though, is that the market recognizes that there is a significant tightness in global supplies, not just of oil, but in particular gasoline. We saw that yesterday with the weekly petroleum inventory report in the United States. So we're going to be in for not as bad a shock as we had. You'll recall this time last year, we were paying $2.13 for a liter of gasoline. The fact we're paying $1.57, you know, is big deal, but I mean, my goodness, much better than last year. But we could see prices move back towards $1.90, maybe even $2 a liter this summer. Very hard to say, but the nervousness in the market seems to be disappearing.
Dan, I noticed an interesting phenomenon last night. I always look to, you know, you sort of tip off our newsroom and let us know kind of where the prices are going so we can report it. So I saw your email last night about the 4 cents. And then I was driving around Burlington last night. Two of the major three gas stations were selling regular unleaded for $1.41 a liter. Shell was the exception. They were around the $1.54. But the other two major brands were selling it really at quite a discount last night. Is that a sign of some sort of bit of competition or a bit of a war happening or starting perhaps? Because I was sort of like, what's going on? I was regretting having filled up the day before.
Same here, and I'm not far. So yeah, look, what's happening is the gas stations are still competing, especially in the afternoons and evenings. They're really reducing their retail margin, which is about 9 cents a liter, not 8, but 9. And that means that what we're looking at is a scenario where if we're wise shoppers, we actually might save as much as 8 or 9, maybe even 10 cents a liter. In the case of 141, when it costs them $1.43 to buy their gasoline, that's probably a bit of a gas war. My advice to everybody is if you're going to fill up, make sure you do it in the evenings, especially on Saturday nights and Sunday nights, but don't wait till Monday, or definitely try not to fill up in the mornings, because that's when gas stations have to really cover their costs for the day, including charging that 8-9 cent retail margin.
All right, that's definitely a little bit of news we can use, so I
Yep.
appreciate you finishing it there. Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy. As it gets more unaffordable, we'll still turn to you, Dan. Thanks so much.
We love you, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Blame me.
Okay, yeah.
Take care.
Take care.